San Francisco is a beautiful place. I loved visiting San Francisco. Seattle, Portland, many different of those West Coast cities. Beautiful, extraordinary places. Whole Foods just announced that they're abandoning San Francisco because it's not safe, there's too much theft, and there's too much crime for them to run their business. Who's the average Whole Foods customer? Probably a woman in her 40s with a college degree, maybe an advanced degree. Left-wing as they come. Same thing was true of San Francisco. San Francisco is as left-wing of a place as possible, and left-wingers have destroyed it. And this is why I say this is so important, and it's really key. We live in a world where everybody looks for someone else to blame, and where there is such a victim ideology that very rarely do people stand directly in front of you and say, I'm responsible for what I do. You may not agree with what I say. You may not agree with what I do. There's nobody else to blame. This is all on me. I teach my boys, the only hand you can rely on is the one at the end of your sleeve. You know what's important? Almost nobody says. You know what the poverty rate in America is? If you graduate from high school, if you get a job, if you get married, and if you don't have a kid until you're 25, it's zero. Let me repeat that. Graduate from high school, get a job, get married, don't have a kid until you're 25 years old. It doesn't matter how poor you were when you were born. Doesn't matter what your dad or mom did for a living. Doesn't matter where you grew up. Your poverty rate in America, if you do those four things, will be zero. Graduate high school, not that hard to do. Get a job, not that hard to do. 3.5% unemployment rate right now. Get married. Believe it or not, there's lots of women out there who'd be happy to get married. Or if you're gay, find a dude. Don't have a kid until you're 25. If you do those four things, you have a poverty rate of zero. How much more impressive? Sometimes I think, hey, I should run for president of the United States, and that should be my entire campaign. All I do is just get up on the stage and repeat that over and over again. How much more powerful is that message? The idea that you, no one else, that you control your own success or failure. I think it's incredibly powerful. I think it, in fact, is the essence of American capitalism and exceptionalism. The individual has the ability to lead to success. Can't guarantee that you're going to be rich. Can guarantee that you're not going to be poor. Okay? All these people in San Francisco, Chicago, New York City, Atlanta, Portland, Seattle, all these cities that are falling apart, record levels of crime, lack of safety, people abandoning these cities like crazy. All of these cities, Democrat run, most of them for decades. And they're all falling apart. The only way that changes is if these people stare themselves in the mirror and say, we did this. Wasn't Donald Trump, wasn't right-wing extremism, wasn't all the people who are Republicans that refuse to wear masks and get their COVID shots. You guys destroyed the cities. And using San Francisco in particular, and this Whole Foods as an example, something called the virtuous circle. Some of you who are in business will know what I'm talking about. Basically, you kind of get this circle going where everything works in your favor. I'll give you an example. Company that's based in the Bay Area, Google. Every time someone Googles, it becomes more efficient, the Google search engine does. And that means that more people use it. It's a virtuous circle because the entire business benefits. Opposite's true. When people abandon cities, San Francisco right now has a 33% office occupancy rate. When people abandon cities, there are less businesses there. When there are less businesses, there are less jobs. When there are less jobs, there's more crime. There's more vagrancy. Works in reverse, too. All of these Democrat cities, when you arrest people and don't keep them in prison and allow them to continue to prey upon innocent people, more and more people leave until the people left behind don't have the resources to be able to support the overall existing government. That's what you're seeing happen in cities like Chicago, New York City, San Francisco. I'm telling you, it's not bad enough because Chicago just elected an awful Democrat left-wing mayor. But sooner or later, all of these cities, they're going to have a come-to-Jesus moment. They're going to stare themselves down in the mirror, and they're going to say, we've got to go get a Rudy Giuliani, a guy who is going to put this city back on its feet. Things got so bad in New York City, they finally did it. Fortunately, unfortunately, evidently all these left-wing cities aren't there yet. They're going to eventually get there, though.